Next up on the Cosmic News Network, First Contact with Joshua Putt.
How you doing today? Good morning, good morning, good morning. Today is the 8th of November 2016. It's the day we've been waiting for the last year. Finally upon us. Finally upon us. So let's see what we're dealing with over the course of this day. Alright, we could see that our moon sign is making a transition. It's going to go from Aquarius, where it is right now, into Pisces. That transition is going to take place starting at 10:42 a.m. where it goes void of course, and then at 3:45 p.m. it goes into the next moon sign. So we're going from an air sign to a water sign. Now, when we look at these elements, we look at these energies, the whole idea is to understand what are the energies we're working with when we're in the world. We already know that we have Scorpio. Scorpio is a water sign, so we already know that we are dealing with emotions. Scorpio brings emotions from deep down, things that are buried deep. That's why the idea of darkness is there, because the further down something is, the further it is away from the light. Therefore, when it comes up, sometimes it is a bit surprising, because we don't necessarily see it and are aware of what's going on the further away it gets from the light. So things come up in order to transform. That's the whole idea. The tarot card of the right here, this is the tarot card of Scorpio. Okay, it's a transition time, but it's the emotions. There's nothing about this card which is physical. This is all about the emotions, because the emotional buttons get pushed, and when the emotions get pushed, sometimes it feels like death, doesn't it? Because the emotions can be very heavy. But what we're doing is we're making a transition. In the transition, our moon sign has been keeping our mind going. Every 2.5 days, our subconscious mind continues to move forward. It's a way, I guess, of continuing to move us forward, giving us new information on a regular basis. So our moon sign has been in Aquarius. It's been an air sign. There's been a lot of activity. Aquarius brings in the idea of hopefulness to it. And so we have all this hopefulness going into this period of time. And now the water bearer is pouring out the last bits of the water from the jar. And as she's doing so, we're getting ready to move into the next phase. So the water represents flow, emotions. So there's a lot of emotions being poured into the world. These ideas that we've wanted to express, we're finding ways to express them, and the water pours out, says now we have to flow. We got to let it flow. We have to take these ideas and we have to let them flow. We have to trust what it is that we want to see in the future, because part of having that reality manifest is that we believe in it to begin with, and our belief helps to manifest that reality that we are trying to manifest. So belief is so important. And we're going to go void of course now for a couple of hours starting at 10:42, but then this afternoon 3:45 p.m. we move into the next sign, and that's where I think is the important one, Pisces, because now we've got all of these emotions, but the emotions have two different directions to go. Okay, Pisces the fish, one swims one way, one swims the other. Kind of seems like our circumstance that we're in. We have two different candidates pretty much going in two different directions. What this shows us here is a process of evolution that takes us all the way up to the pillars. So everything up to those pillars represents what we already know. What we already know. So if we look at the situation we're in, we already know the government that we have. We've known it for years and years and years. We already know the media that we have. We know what systems are in place because they've been in place for a long time. We know Hillary Clinton because she has been in office for such a long period of time. That's why we're able to find so much information and now so much dirt on her, because we know this. This is all before the pillars. But this card represents going past the pillars, past what we know, into the unknown. And that's where I think is the opportunity that we all have here in America to walk past what we don't know. And what we don't know is that society that's free from the oppressions of the powers to be, of the elite. So the signs, the seasons, the energies around us are really showing us that there's an opportunity for us to advance as a people, as a society. What we do with it, that's our choice. But the signs are there, the seasons are there. Its opportunities are available to us. Okay, 3:45, and then at 11:51 p.m., Mars is going to get into the mix. And Mars could bring some anger with it. It could bring some frustration, and it jumps into the area of Aquarius. So, there might be these expressions, but positive expressions, cheering, happiness, victory. So, interesting day. I think it's going to be some significant that we're moving into the Pisces. So just keep that in mind. Remember all of these, Pisces is a water sign, Scorpio is a water sign. Water signs are emotions. Emotions are the things that we all have that get affected very easily. Someone pushes our emotional button, and sometimes we react. We want to learn not to react. We want to be able to respond to what is going on. Okay, so that's the Gregorian calendar. The moon itself is a waxing moon. We're going to be at the full moon on the 14th. Okay, right now we're 59% of the way there. On the Jewish calendar, which is year 5777, and it's just the beginning of this year. Today is 7 Cheshvan, the month of Cheshvan. And the daily thought for today is working with the body. It used to be that the soul fought with the body until one conquered the other by force. But then the Baal Shem Tov came and taught a new path. The body too could come to appreciate those things the soul desires. In the place of self-affliction and fasting, the Baal Shem Tov showed his students the way to meditate and joy. Every need of the body, he taught, could provide a channel to carry the soul high. And finally, the cosmic energy around us of the cosmos, solar wind, 287.0 kilometers per second. We got a notification, chance of storms on the 8th today. We have a CME that shot off on the 5th towards us. Planetary K-index is quiet at the moment. Seems like it's going to stay that way. Here we have again the flying pickle over the Earth, and you look at this and what do you see? See a disc, right? That's what it looks like to me. This doesn't look like a globe that I'm seeing under here. And this sun doesn't look like it's 93 million miles away. It looks like it's right there. So this picture has a couple of anomalies from what we are told, because I don't see the globe and I don't see a 93 million mile away sun. But I digress. Okay, looking over at the sun here, we got Corona hole at the top. Things opening up there in the bottom. M-class flare possibility looks like it's at 1%, just like X-class. Geomagnetic storm activity mid-latitudes has subsided from 30 down to 15, 10 to 5. High latitudes, it seems to be pretty stable. In the severe range, it's going up just a little bit, up to 20% from 15. So there you go. That is the energy around us, the cosmic weather. So as you're going out and about today, understand there are a lot of emotions that are out there, just from the Scorpio aspect of things. A lot of emotions. People have been feeling the selection process for a whole year. A lot of things are bottled up. So expect that as you go out there to encounter others who are feeling emotionally drained. And this process has really stretched a lot of people. So just be aware of that with the emotions. And we want to learn to process these emotions by responding to ways in which they are affected as opposed to just reacting. So just keep your eyes open. Pay attention today to what's happening around you, what's happening to you, and just, take a moment to figure it out. Take a moment to breathe. Take a moment to look. Don't allow yourself to get caught up in a rush situation. All right? It's not necessary. And there you go. That is our cosmic weather, UFO news. Up next.
This is the UFO News with Joshua Poet.
All right, Dirk, thank you very much. Today, I have 4 good UFO stories. The first one is a little bit more information on the sighting that took place yesterday, or that I showed you yesterday over Italy. Remember that object? It's right here, that funny looking object, and up here. Members of the UFO community left stunned after witnessing a display of advanced interdimensional alien UFO in the skies above Lecco in Lombardo, Italy. Many onlookers believe that the spectacular sighting proves that highly advanced aliens are visiting Earth. Other UFO enthusiasts believe that the UFO technology belonged to Pleiadians or Nordic aliens, an international extraterrestrial species known to be highly evolved and benevolent. YouTube user Davisto de Zabrowski, with the help of the Midolio Corrado, uploaded the images of the alleged advanced UFO. The mysterious object was spotted on November 2nd, 2016. The images in the video show a large, translucent flying saucer, apparently sighted in the skies above Lecco after emerging from the so-called interdimensional portal. The video also shows the UFO releasing smaller, bright, translucent spheres or orbs, which are believed to be UFO drones. The witness, Giuseppe Filipponi, snapped the images shown in the YouTube videos, and Gabriel Tim uploaded them to Facebook. Alright, so you saw that yesterday, so it's getting a little bit of traction, it would appear. Here we have Edwards Air Force Base, California. UFO near Edwards Air Force Base checks out USAF weapons. United States Air Force, for those who are wondering or don't know what the USAF is, now you do. This UFO was obviously interested in the U.S. Air Force Base near it. UFOs are often seen near bases and even have totally and permanently disabled nuclear missiles. Okay. The eyewitness states that we were driving east passing Edwards Air Force Base, and I noticed an object traveling very fast across the highway. It had a wobble to it because the sun's reflection wasn't constant and it couldn't be seen unless it tilted. I happened to take 2 pictures of it while it was reflecting the sun off my Canon digital camera. I have raw images that can be examined further, but will only submit a JPEG at this time due to the size of the raw images. Alright, there's our object in question. You could see it there in the distance. Alright, Palmyra, Wisconsin, November 6th. We have the bluish glowing orb in the sky. At about midnight, we were on the porch and noticed a bright, distant object. 5 of us took turns observing it with binoculars for half an hour. It remained stationary during the entire time it was observed, changed colors and intensity from red to blue to white to green and combinations of these colors. It was too bright to be a planet. It was at least a couple miles, but the night was clear, and with binoculars it was very obviously not a planet or a plane. It was still there when we went to bed. The next night, 2 of us observed it again, the same location for an hour. I took 2 photos with my phone. They aren't very clear, but they show some of the colors changing. Okay, I know that I've seen things like this. You've seen things like this, exactly like that. Even says right here, the glowing orb has been seen worldwide over the past few years. So yeah, a lot of people have seen this. And finally, one last piece here. This is a video to watch. It's the truth about UFOs in the military. It says the military has claimed they have no interest in UFOs and say they do not investigate UFO cases. However, through the Freedom of Information Act, investigators have uncovered several documents that would indicate UFOs have been of interest and that the most important files were most likely never made public. Regardless of whether one believes the UFO phenomena is real or not, what is clear from the Air Force's own records is that they have taken at least a handful of UFO reports seriously since 1969, despite claims to the contrary, and they do seem to feel obligated to share this information with the public. We at Open Minds feel differently and will continue to bring our findings and share with you the findings of others digging for the UFO information the Air Force seems reticent to share. Well, there is the movie itself, Truth About Military UFOs and Military Secrecy, and there you go. So the link's available. Check it out. I believe it's 20, 30 some minutes in length, and I think you'll find it to be very informative. I'll be back. We shall continue on. Stay tuned.
What if our government was responsible for some of the greatest crimes against this nation? Would you really want to know? These are big questions, but these questions deserve answers. It's time to demand the truth.
People should not be afraid of their governments. Governments should be afraid of them.
9/11 was an inside job. Kennedy was killed by the CIA. Jimmy Carter saw UFO. Answers to secrets you need to know. So wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. 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 The evidence is overwhelming. Step past your fear, take a look. Illuminati lies keep growing, but they're illusion from your eyes. And wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. What would our founding fathers say if they were alive today? Must be turning in their graves. Redcoats are coming, big brother's watching. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. What if I land and two if I see? And I on the opposite shore will be ready to ride and spread the alarm through every Middlesex village and farm. Whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or abolish it. When a long train of abuses and usurpations, pursuing invariably the same object, evinces a design to reduce them under absolute despotism, it is their right, it is their duty to throw off such government and to provide new guards for their future security. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Patriots arise. It's time to demand the truth.
All right. Continuing on. So today, you know what today is? Today is Independence Day, my friends. It's Independence Day. It's the day that we have an opportunity to regain our independence here in this country. An opportunity to gain our independence here in this country simply by participating in the process. Okay, simply by participating in the process in the way it was designed to be participated in. See, for a long time, our country has been oppressed. Now, I've thought a lot about, the idea, the phrase "Make America Great," and a lot of people don't like that. A lot of these young millennials seem to be the group, these young college-age students, and I think about that, and I realize that, for these young kids, 21 years of age, 8 years of Barack Obama, well, these kids were just 12, 13 years old. They weren't participating in the process at that time. And at that time, they were too young to understand what had happened before them. They were all after 9/11, so they were experiencing a different world. So many of these young people these days don't know a world prior to 9/11. They don't remember the times when we could go to airports and we didn't have to go through all of the scrutiny we go through. They don't remember those times where we didn't have the GMOs in the food, or we didn't have all of this media censorship being jammed down our throat, or the various political agendas. There were times that were much different than what we have right now. And so the young people don't understand that. And it's important that they remember. And I think that it's happening because over the years, we've allowed liberal professors to teach the kids. So a guy like Bill Ayers, who is a public enemy to the United States of America, goes off and becomes a college teacher. And he's teaching young kids in college his philosophy, his ideology about how things should be, which, as we know, are anti-American. So he teaches these kids, and some of these kids graduate and come back as teachers themselves, and they themselves are teaching others. So we've had a system of these liberal-minded ideologies being taught through liberal systems, and we can't really, expect that the kids are going to have some other ideas because they're not conditioned to have ideas. They're not conditioned to think for themselves. And I know the young kids these days are, like all young kids in college at the time, are filled with a lot of, ego and bravado and, I can rule the world kind of attitude. But there's also, this humility that seems to be missing in some ways, of taking a chance, of remembering back to what some of the ancestors were about. We seem to have selective memory, when there's all the talk about slavery, which happened 150 some odd years ago, and we have the Emancipation Proclamation to change the course of where it was going. We seem to have, memory of this incident, but we forget about other things that were very important to our history. And we need not be selective. We need to remember it all. We need to remember it all, because if we don't, we got a problem. And here we are. We've got a problem. We've been oppressed for a long while. 1913, Federal Reserve Act. Then we had the IRS got involved, and we've been under that control. It's since 1917 the Council on Foreign Relations has been in control. We've had the United Nations came along. We've been so controlled for such a long while. But here's our chance to break free from that control. Okay? We can either go with Hillary Clinton, who has been a career politician. She'll take us down the same path that she has been taking us for the last 30 years. She'll continue on now with just a bit more power to be able to implement her plans. But she'll be going the same direction we're basically going right now. And many of us see this is not a good direction. And many of us have seen the lies and corruption around this woman and her campaign. The Democratic Party as well. Now the newest stuff that's coming out today is information about pedophile rings taking place within the Democratic Party and involving a lot of high-level individuals. And then also crossing party lines to go and involve Republicans as well. So people in Washington aren't clean. The swamp needs to be drained. So that brings us to our other option, which is the freedom to go another direction, to go into the unknown, past what we know, and have faith. because you and me and many others have seen the signs over and over and over again showing us the direction. Couldn't be any more clear what we're supposed to do, who we're supposed to choose. We know that cheating's going to occur. We just have to keep putting out the positive thoughts and prayers that we will be able to overcome this, because I truly believe that the problems taking place are bigger than just a physical problem. They're a problem of the battle of good and evil that's taking place behind the scenes. Behind the scenes. Now, what I wanted to bring up here today was just some things to remind you, just some reminders. Here is I just realized that the microphone wasn't on. Check, check. There we go. Okay, what we have here is a website, the National Archives. And this National Archives is a site where we can go and check out all about our country and the founding documents of our country. And so what we have here is a section that gets into our founding documents, and I've brought up 3 different ones: the Declaration, the Constitution, and the Bill of Rights. This is the Declaration of Independence. In Congress, July 4th, 1776. The unanimous declaration of the 13 United States of America. When in the course of human events it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another, and to assume among the powers of the earth the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and of nature's God entitle them, a decent respect to the opinions of mankind requires that they should declare the causes which impel them to their separation. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that to secure these rights governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed, that whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it, institute a new government, laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety, happiness. Prudence indeed will dictate that governments long established should not be challenged for light or transient causes, and accordingly all experience hath shown that mankind are more disposed to suffer while evils are sufferable than to right themselves by abolishing the forms to which they are accustomed. But when a long train of abuses and usurpations, pursuing invariably the same object, evinces a design to reduce them under absolute despotism, it is their right, it is their duty to throw off such a government and to provide new guards for their future security. Such has been the patient suffrage of these colonies, and such is now the necessity which constrains them to alter their former systems of government. The history of the present King of Great Britain is a history of repeated injustices and usurpations, all having direct object the establishment of an absolute tyranny over these states. To provide this, let the facts be submitted to a candid world. Well, we could easily take and change in here the history of the President Barack Obama. We could plug Hillary Clinton into there in her history. We could see that the reasons on why this separation occurred are all taking place right now. And it says right here, it tells us that it's up to the people to alter or abolish it. Okay? Whenever any form of government is destructive so that the people no longer have the rights, it is supposed to be a government that derives their powers from those who are governed. Okay? The system is gotten to be backwards, and those who have been the governing body, well, they've gotten a little bit too much power, and that's why we're in this situation, and that's the struggle that's going on. Hillary Clinton has donors, people that give her money in order to be able to run her campaign. And that's a normal thing that happens, but she gets donors from foreign countries, from foreign governments, and from people that want to have favors from the United States of America in exchange for the money they gave to her. They're not giving their money to the United States of America. They're giving their money to her. And then she is giving something of America which she doesn't have access to or right to give away. She's giving away things to other countries because they gave her something. The United States doesn't benefit at all because they're not getting anything, but she's certainly taking something away from them. She's stealing from America. And if America could just see this. So that's the battle we've got going on. She's represented by all of these donors who are going to want favors from her. We could see through all of the emails going on. People don't understand why this is significant. But if her emails have been compromised in the way that it suggested that they were by the various different agencies, there's a problem. Because we don't know who could have her information and how they might use that against her. Or what information they may have that might jeopardize Americans in the field out there. So there's a lot of problems that are going on. This is our chance to break away, to gain our independence, because we have seen the injustices. We are aware of them. Okay, and then this here is the Constitution of the United States. Very first three words are the most important. We, the people. We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, to establish justice, to ensure domestic tranquility, to provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty, to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish the Constitution for the United States of America. Okay, these are the laws for the land. The laws for the land. We want to remember that it all starts off with we the people. Okay? The whole system is supposed to be about we the people have the power. The reason a government was set up was in order to be able to regulate matters between the people. But it was never intended that that body that was supposed to be the body that acts as a mediary was supposed to be a powerful body, more powerful than the people. It was never intended that way, but that's what it's grown. And so we think of that system as like the beast. The beast has grown, and we've allowed it to grow over the years, and now people feed the beast because they are afraid to step away from it because they've gotten too much from it. Okay? The beast, if you think about when Jesus was tempted, what's one of the things the devil offered to him? I'll give you everything if you just bow down before me. And that's really what it's all about. Well, what does this beast system do? Entitlements, we'll give you everything, just bow down to me, here's some welfare, here's some affirmative action, here's some free phones, here's some free this, just bow down to me, listen to everything I say and I'll give you these free things. But ultimately these things aren't free, they have a price to them, and the price is giving up freedom. But people don't care, we've lost sight of that, because we've been conditioned through this process over the years to not care. We need to care. And finally, here is the Bill of Rights. On September 25th, 1789, the first Congress of the United States proposed 12 amendments to the Constitution. The 1789 Joint Resolution of Congress proposing the amendments is on display in the Rotunda in the National Archive Museum. 10 of the proposed 12 amendments were ratified by 3/4 of the state legislatures December 15th, 1791. The ratified articles constitute the first 10 amendments of the Constitution or the U.S. Bill of Rights. In 1992, 203 years after it was proposed, Article 2 was ratified as the 27th Amendment to the Constitution. Article 1 was never ratified. So let me jump down here and let's look at these Bill of Rights. It says Congress began and held the city of New York on Wednesday the 4th of March 1789. The convention of the number of the states. Okay, let's get down to it. Amendment. These are the 10 amendments that are very important to our lives. These are our rules. 1. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof or abridging the freedom of speech or the press or the right of the people to peacefully assemble. Okay, that's the beauty of this whole system. We should be able to get along with each other. We should be able to have passionate debates with each other, to say what we need to say. What I need to say and what I want to say is my First Amendment right to be able to express myself. Others may not like it. You don't have to listen to it, but I have that right. Just as much as you have your right to express your First Amendment. Now, when your right infringes upon mine, that's when we have a problem. Okay? That in society doesn't work. We're not supposed to infringe our rights upon others, or vice versa. And so this bill protects us, it protects all of us. Yet this bill is in jeopardy because we want, or Hillary Clinton wants to censor organizations like this one, like InfoWars, like WikiLeaks, like anything that's putting out truth. She wants to censor that because we are in an information war. And if that information is censored and people don't know what's going on, then they're kept in the dark. Second one, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. This is a very important one. I know that people have a lot of problem with this from a liberal perspective. That, oh, we shouldn't have this happen. But the problem is this. It's very simple. As governments, which are supposed to be intermediaries, grew and became more powerful, they became a bit tyrannical. And as they became tyrannical and started oppressing the very people that they were supposed to mediate, they then became a danger to the system because they started hurting the system. And if it wasn't for some sort of drastic means, like the protections of the Second Amendment, those in power would use their arm, their military might, upon the people who they are trying to protect. And they might do so in a very unfair way. We could already see what the administration has done with the IRS. Imagine if he was wielding the military at the people. You know, we have all of these different events taking place across the country in various murders and battles and this and that. You know, it's a very it's a situation we really need to be aware of. This is an important right. We don't want to abuse the right. People do abuse it, but you understand why it's there. It's necessary to protect ourselves. No soldier in the time of peace shall be quartered in any house without the consent of the owner. The right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, and papers against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated. 5. No person shall be held to answer for a capital otherwise infamous crime. You know, all the pleading of the Fifth Amendment. People give, I don't want to answer that because they don't want to, you know, they don't want to incriminate themselves. 6. In all criminal prosecutions, the accused shall enjoy the right to a speedy and public trial. 7. In suits of common law where the value in controversy shall exceed $20, the right of trial by jury shall be preserved. 8. Excessive bail shall not be required. 9. The enumeration of the Constitution shall not be construed to deny or disparage others retained by the people. And 10. The powers not get delegated by the U.S. Constitution nor prohibited by the states are reserved to the states, respectively, or the people. So what the 10th Amendment here says is that if it's not written in the Constitution, if it's not specifically stated here that this is a power that belongs to the federal government, then it doesn't belong to the federal government. It belongs to the states and to the people. Okay? The people, we should all know how to rule ourselves. We should all know how to take care of ourselves. The state shouldn't be there to take care of people. It should be there as a process to assist the people moving through life. Assist them with opportunities that are available in life, not give them handouts, because that doesn't do any good for anybody. So those are the 10 amendments. That's the Bill of Rights. So these 3 founding documents, Declaration of Independence, the Constitution, and Bill of Rights, are so very important. And if we forget about the importance of them, then we ourselves are going to be the ones hurting in the future. And our founding fathers are probably rolling over in their graves thinking how silly we are, that we're giving up the very freedoms that they fought so hard to obtain for us. Now, as this process goes along, it's dragged out, as it seems, for well over a year. 16 months, was it in June or July, when Donald Trump announced he was going to run for the presidency. So it's been, what, over a year, well over like a year and a half. It's been a long, long process. Today we're all going to vote. Today's our opportunity to express ourselves, to use our voice. Our hope is that the system is done fairly today. Our hope is to weed out any of the corruption or the cheating that's taking place. But at the end of the day, what we're voting for, we the people, we are voting for the representation that will come to us from the electors. Each state will have a number of electors. Okay? Now, these electors who make up the Electoral College will then ultimately vote on who will be the president. The election for when the electors do it, when they actually vote, isn't until December 19th. So no matter what happens today, no matter what happens tonight, the final election results of who is president is not determined until these votes are cast on the 19th of December by the electors. Now, I know people say, well, they're supposed to do exactly what the vote says, that the popular vote should go, and automatically the electors should go to the person who won the popular vote. And one would think, in theory, that's exactly what should happen. But we know from previous elections that hasn't been the case, right? We know that there's been those who have won the popular vote and the electoral vote ended up different. So, doesn't mean that's always going to be that kind of result. What it means, though, is that there is not a final result until that December date happens. So whatever goes on today, it's important to the mix, but there's more to the story that is unfolding. Okay? More to the story that is unfolding. So take a look at this site here. This is the Electoral College. If I click right in here, the Electoral College is a process, not a place. The Founding Fathers established it in the Constitution as a compromise between election of the President by a vote in Congress and election of the President by a popular vote of qualified citizens. The Electoral College process consists of the selection of the electors, the meeting of the electors where they vote for the President and the Vice President, and the counting of the electoral votes by Congress. The Electoral College consists of 538 electors. A majority of 270 electoral votes is required to elect the president. Your state's entitled allotment of electors equals the number of members in its congressional delegation, 1 for each member in the House of Representatives plus 2 for your senators. Read more about the allocation here. Okay, so This is the process, and if you go and we see 26th presidential election, click on this link here. It tells us election day, November 8th. Registered voters cast their votes for president and vice president. By doing so, they are also helping to choose the electors who will represent their state in the Electoral College. Mid-November through December, after the presidential election, the governor of your state prepares 7 certificates of ascertainment. As soon as practicable, after the election results in your state are certified, the governor sends one of the certification of ascertainment to the archivist. So they go through, they file all these papers. December 13, states make their final decisions in any controversies over their appointments. And then finally, December 19th, electors are going to meet and they will vote on the president. So, you're not going to get your president today. Okay? Today you're going to get a representation of what the people believe. We want to have an overwhelming result with Donald Trump, a landslide victory, so that not only does the popular vote get won in this process, but we also then move towards the electoral. And that's where I believe that Donald Trump understands the idea that this is a negotiation. He said that early on when he first started, that he was negotiating for the office, and I think he understands. And so for all of you out there who are concerned that not all this information about crooked Hillary is getting out quick enough, just keep in mind, December 19th is when the electors actually vote. Okay, so there's time, it would seem, to be able to get more information to them throughout this process. And so just know that the process will continue on. No new president is put in office until the 20th of January, and then we still have all of the things that good old Barack Obama may try to do while he's in office. We don't know that he's going to try to not do anything or what's going to happen. We just have a lot of speculation at this point. Things will unfold. We shall see. Okay, moving on. Here's an article. This is prepare for the next energy threshold. We're traveling through some very difficult and chaotic times right now. If you live in the U.S., a lot of that is focused on the crazy elections, but no matter where you are, it's much more than that. Humanity is stepping into new energy thresholds soon with choices that need to be made about the kind of world we want. The choices involve big issues like honoring each other and our planet. Decisions need to be made about how we can sustain life for the next generation and how we can evolve into being able to coexist peacefully with one another. Decisions on the table are big picture for the collective, while many decisions will be made by policymakers. Individuals like us are a big part of the mix. Our voices do count, and our involvement in what happens next is vital. Policy-making decisions can be made without our participation, but our role as divine change makers is to be active, heart-centered voices for positive change. Active is more than sitting around complaining. It's putting our voices into action in a constructive way. As I've spoken about in past couple of months, we have a series of energy thresholds occurring the last month of 2016. The last one was mid-October, and the next is the week of November 12th in the supermoon window. These energy thresholds occur as more people reach new awareness and then act on that awareness. Their action part is important. Right now we are seeing a cumulative mega spiraling effect occurring. This is because of the critical mass building as more people reach new levels of awakening and begin embodying higher awareness. Also in the mix is the dynamic of people waking up and not yet having the grounded spiritual perspective about what's really going on, not yet able to discern truth. Discerning is a developing skill. It doesn't come automatically in with waking up any more than a baby being able to be immediately walking and talking. The lack of discernment can lead to a lot of chaos. People say things just based on something they heard, and the information may have little or no basis in fact. At this next threshold, we are facing another crossroad, needing to choose how we go forward. From a quantum perspective, this is not just about one choice, it's about a whole new mindset of approaches and responses. The best way to move through the crossroad is to do so consciously, becoming awake to the choices presented and to pick the highest ones. Discernment will be required to choose wisely. This weekend, lots of unprocessed emotions will be on the surface, and some flying in the air as people express their upset with how things are during and this potential dire consequences of situations such as the U.S. elections. As dramas escalate on the world stage, do what you can daily to find a sense of humor and lightness of being. Extra grounding and stay present will help a lot too. This next week is likely to be intense, so shore up your energy this weekend with some rest and me time to recharge. The energies will be intense for lots of reasons, including the build up to next weekend's supermoon, the biggest one we've had in about 70 years. Full moons tend to amplify things anyway, so with a supermoon, allow for extra amplification and stirring of emotions. Here's your silver lining for November 8th, Election Day in the U.S. On that day, we have some helpful, heart-opening planetary energies arriving. Tightly closed hearts may stay closed, but many people yearning for balance may find it easier to make choices and act on their heart's wisdom. With these energies present, it may be easier for you to find harmony with others and to connect with a higher view of situations. Another plus is these harmonious energies may help you to open to some new direction your higher self has been nudging you towards. Pay attention to your dreams and random ideas that seem to come out of nowhere. When things are chaotic and uncertain, it's best to do more grounding and meditation than usual. It also helps to join with others of like mind, surrounding yourself with people who want a loving world like you do. Know throughout the week that you are loved and supported by a whole host of beings, some physical, some non-physical, giving you a boundless resource to shine your light brightly. Okay, so there you go. So, more confirmations about the energies we're dealing with. So that brings us to our prayer and our meditation for today. And I think it's so important that we do prayer and meditation every day that I've included it in the show. Because I believe that every day life is a gift, first of all. I believe every day that when we go out into the world, that if we look at the world and we see what's going on, we can discern the problems from the positive things that are taking place. And if we look at that way, we can then go ahead and make an effect upon the things that are problematic to change them. So over the course of the show, you hear about problems, we understand what they are, but we bring everything back to the positive ending of now let's heal them. Let's heal the solution. Let's heal what's going on with us in America right now. So, let's close our eyes for the meditation. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath. And exhale. Take another deep breath. And exhale again. And another breath. And exhale. Now, let's imagine ourselves looking out at the world. And we're seeing a world with lots of ideas, lots of people moving around, doing lots of activities. And as we see all of this taking place, we see that there's also a lot of confusion because people are dealing with all of these energies and not necessarily aware how. So we focus on the light that shines through us. And as we focus on this light within, we find that we're able to concentrate. And as we're able to concentrate and focus our energy, we become more clear. And we're able to discern right from wrong, good from bad, light from dark. And as we're able to discern better, we're able to send out these thoughts of discernment to others, and they in turn, and on, And we realize that we are able to affect change in the world, first by affecting ourselves, and then allowing that effect to reach out to others. So we move through the world this day and we just imagine being beacons of light. Light is information, so we shine bright this light, this information into the world. And this light, this information goes out into the world of darkness or ignorance. And it brings information to the ignorance. Therefore, the ignorance becomes informed and learns and grows and evolves. In the same way that the darkness becomes illuminated until it is no longer dark, but filled with light as well. So we imagine ourselves being beacons of light moving through the world this day. We imagine darkness being dissipated in goodness and light, taking charge, taking center stage. And let's just imagine ourselves living in earth, on the earth, with all of the badness washed away, all of the evil, all of the darkness washed away. And let's just imagine us shining bright, radiating with goodness, God smiling upon us. Heavenly Father, Heavenly Mother, thank you for the blessings of the love and the light that you shine in our lives each and every day. Thank you for the blessing of the Christ light that flows and emanates through each and every one of us, allowing us the opportunity to rise above all of our challenges, that we too might be resurrected into this world of understanding and discernment. We pray this day that minds be opened, that hearts be opened, that we seize this opportunity in America to reclaim our freedom, to step away from all of those that have been oppressive, and to stand as Americans moving in the direction of being that beacon on the hill that we once were. And we pray for Donald Trump, that he might be protected and that he continue to fulfill his purpose for us here in America. And we also pray that justice be brought, Lord, to all of those who are causing problems in our society. That justice be brought to those within our governments, the Obamas and the Clintons and the Podestas and the Comeys and the justice departments and all of the corruption that is out there. May they be brought to true justice and understanding the error of their ways. And may once and for all America find its balance and reclaim its place as a shining beacon of truth, of positivity in the world. So let's let our subconscious mind continue on this journey, sending out light and love into the world, and let's bring the conscious mind back to the present moment on the count of 3. 3, coming back to the present moment filled with confidence. 2, coming back to the present moment filled with faith. And 1, coming back to the present moment happy, healthy, and whole. Happy, healthy, and whole. Take another deep breath. Exhale. And open your eyes. That's it, my friends. That is it for today. Let's go out there and make a difference here in America. This is our Independence Day. A day to reclaim this country from all of those who are trying to oppress us. So go out and vote. Tell others to vote. Let's see to it that Donald Trump makes his way into the White House. Because if he doesn't get into the White House, all of these wonderful things he's talked about doing can't get done. There's only one way they're going to get done. We've got to do our part. So let's do our part. Let's show the overwhelming results and the overwhelming support so that we can move forward, as I believe we're destined to do. Thank you very much for being here. Go out, have an awesome day. I love you. Keep loving each other, and I'll talk to you soon. Peace. I'm out of here.